remembering former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney. Justin Trudeau paid tribute to the late Conservative leader while in Thunder Bay. Good evening and thank you for joining us. Prime Minister Trudeau was a special guest at a Liberal Party fundraiser last night at the Valhalla Inn.
But before he gave his remarks to party supporters, Trudeau spoke about former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney, who passed away yesterday at the age of 84. Josh Morano was with Trudeau and brings us the details.
He was committed to this country, loved it with all his heart, and served it.
Brian Mulroney was Canada's 18th Prime Minister and was at the helm as the country shifted through some significant changes in national and world affairs. He passed away Thursday afternoon at the age of 84. Mulroney was in power from 1984 until 1993 and made several stops in Thunder Bay during that time span. Trudeau spoke fondly of the former PM ahead of his fundraiser in the city Thursday night, stating Mulroney helped shape Canada into what it is today.
His commitment to this country as a proud Quebecer, to bringing people together and demonstrating the impact, but also the necessity of Canada on the world stage and the pride that Canadians could take in it was something that has left its mark. He shaped our past, but he shapes our present, and he will impact our future as well. He was an extraordinary statesman, and he will be deeply, deeply missed.
Trudeau reiterated his condolences in front of the nearly 100 people at this Liberal Party fundraiser, which reportedly cost attendees a steep $1,500 apiece. Later in his speech, Trudeau shifted his focus back to the people in attendance, delivering a message where he expressed the importance this region has on the country.
Because not only do we have the best educated workforce in the OECD, not only do we have the resources, we also look out for each other in a way that makes our communities more stable, our democracy stronger, our ability to solve challenges with resilience even better.
Josh Morano, TBT News.
And tributes are also pouring in from across the country. Plans are underway for a state funeral for former Prime Minister Brian Mulroney.
He was surrounded by family when he passed away at a Palm Beach, Florida hospital, where he was being treated for a fall. He also had other health issues. Mulroney is being remembered today for his modest beginnings and his lasting legacy. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
Flags at half-mast. The House of Commons is in mourning.
Canadians and all the members of this House are lamenting the loss of a great patriot.
The former Prime Minister was an unconventional politician from the start. Before he was even an MP, he ran for the leadership of the Conservative Party. In 1976, he lost to Joe Clark, but beat him in '83. Clark says they put their work before their rivalry.
There were times that was tough. After both campaigns, it's more fun winning than losing. But we both made a point after he won the leadership to recognize that we would better serve the country and ourselves together.
La famille de Charlie.
Mulroney came from working-class roots in Baie-Comeau, Quebec. The son of a paper mill electrician, he became a labor lawyer and was fluently bilingual.
He was himself from a minority. He was Anglo in Quebec, while I was Franco in the rest of the land. And, but it was possible coming from rural Quebec to move up the ladder to be Prime Minister of Canada, as he was, very successful one.
In this 2007 W5 documentary, Mulroney spoke about his experience of leading Canada for nearly a decade.
I knew that we were going to encounter some difficulties. Plus, we had guided the country through a recession, the GST, free trade, NAFTA, the Gulf War, you name it, a lot of controversy.
Kim Campbell, who succeeded him, says Mulroney was always willing to listen. He was initially against free trade and didn't know much about fighting acid rain, yet he brought in both policies after seeing the evidence.
That ability to rethink something and to learn and to be open and to be respectful of well-founded knowledge was a very great strength of his and something very admirable.
But don't forget the intangibles. Mulroney, a proud Irish Catholic with a velvety voice that he used to charm the world's biggest superpower.
Sure they'd steal your heart away.
Big dreams, big bold gestures is very much his was his style, and I don't think we don't have that kind of political sort of presence on the Canadian stage today.
Brian Mulroney had been battling cancer before his fall and hospitalization. He was 84 years old. A state funeral is being planned for later this month. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
4 Northshore municipalities are still in the dark as to where their new amalgamated EMS bases will be located or when they'll be built.
That's despite the fact that Superior North EMS has identified its preferred sites. EMS Chief Shane Muir addressed that issue yesterday in Nipigon at day 1 of the annual meeting of the Thunder Bay District Municipal League. Lee Noonan was there.
Superior North EMS Chief Shane Muir updated the Thunder Bay Municipal League on the state of the region's EMS service over the past year. The service saw progress on many fronts, but the plan to consolidate 4 Northshore EMS bases down to 2 is in limbo as he waits on approvals from the City of Thunder Bay.
We've identified locations that we would consider suitable. We just don't know if they're suitable to actually build on or have the proper infrastructure, access, and egress routes.
It's been more than a year since Thunder Bay City Council approved a plan to consolidate the EMS bases in Nipigon and Red Rock, as well as Schreiber and Terrace Bay.
Is there a timeline? I mean, you spoke briefly to the fact that it has gone to the Realty Division, but again, timeline. That seems to be the number one question that we get.
I was really hoping that we'd be a little bit farther along, and I know some of our other city departments are incredibly swamped with the amount of work that they have to do. They have a huge workload, and they have other priorities as well. This is not something I'm letting go of, though.
In a written statement, Thunder Bay City Manager Norm Gale offered no firm timeline, but said the file is being reviewed diligently and with a sense of urgency, with meetings planned in the coming weeks. Meanwhile, there is ongoing concern about how the base consolidation will affect service in the municipalities.
Schreiber and Terrace Bay have been left a number of times in code black. I'm just wondering with the consolidation of the Schreiber and Terrace Bay ambulance base, how are you going to make sure we aren't left in code black anymore?
If you're talking about a service that's staffed with 1 ambulance, then as soon as they get a call, it's actually a code black situation.
Muir says recruitment and retention are the solution to avoiding code black situations where all ambulances are tied up. However, it's also the biggest challenge currently facing the service.
We are currently in a staffing crisis. We desperately need paramedic recruitment. We've created a whole digital media strategy around SNEMS, putting out its branding, putting out its culture, really trying to attract people to the northern communities to work as paramedics.
Muir did have quite a bit of good news as well, including a robust new mental health support program for paramedics and strong results from the new community paramedicine program, which he directly connects to a reduction in call volume across the district. Lee Noonan, TBT News.
It appears a February 7th vote to oust the chief of Red Rock Indian Band is now considered to have passed. That reverses the original decision and leaves Chief Marcus Hardy with just a week to respond and defend himself against the allegations. The First Nations administration issued a statement yesterday after an emergency band meeting on Tuesday night. The emergency meeting was called by former Red Rock councillor Shannon Michelle Ruth, who was one of a number of band members who contested the results of a vote to remove Hardy from office. With 91 members present at the February 7th meeting, the 57-23 vote was originally considered not to have met the 2/3 threshold needed to pass, but Michelle Ruth and others argued that non-voting members should never have been considered in the overall tally.
We all came together and the majority said that yes, the motion was incorrectly marked as defeated as per motions that we had in the past. And everybody, we had a letter of support drafted up, and a number of people signed the letter stating that that Marcus Hardy was removed at the February 7th general band meeting.
According to the statement released by administration, Hardy has been accused of misusing the banned credit card. He has until March 8th to respond. After that, band members will make the final decision alongside counsel. In a brief statement to TVT News, Hardy says he does intend to defend himself against the allegations.
Thunder Bay police have charged an 18-year-old with child luring. Ontario Nawagizik is accused of arranging to meet a 13-year-old girl for a sexual encounter late last year. Police allege the pair met online, where the accused claimed to be 14. He then shared unsolicited sexual images with the victim. When the two met in person, the youth realized Nawagizik was older than he claimed to be. He was arrested on Tuesday. Anyone with information about the case is asked to contact Thunder Bay Police or Crime Stoppers.
4 people face drug trafficking charges after an Atikokan residence was searched yesterday morning. Multiple OPP units and the K-9 team were involved in the drug bust. Officers seized cocaine, crack cocaine, narcotic pills, and fentanyl, along with more than $6,000 in cash and drug trafficking equipment. The drugs have an estimated street value of about $25,000. A man and woman from Atikokan and 2 men from the Toronto area were charged with drug trafficking and possession of property obtained by crime.
The Northwestern Fur Trappers Association is hosting its annual convention this weekend at the CLE Heritage Building. Trapping has been around for generations and still has a strong presence in the Thunder Bay District. The association currently has about 350 members, and there's hope that number will continue to grow. The association's mission is to educate the public on trapping-related issues and policies, while also preserving a piece of Canadian history.
So it's getting people together here at the convention, educating new trappers, to talk about issues that are important for trappers, preserving our livelihood and our trapping lifestyle. I think the big thing for trappers is we want to preserve what we do, and it's really really important that we're educating, we're working on creating that long-term kind of succession plan. So like when we're done trapping, there's a generation coming in behind us that are taking up trapping and enjoying the trapping lifestyle.
The event includes live demonstrations and competitions, as well as vendors selling trapping-related merchandise and equipment. The public open house runs again tomorrow from 9:30 to 3.
An opening reception is being held at this hour for a new exhibit at the Thunder Bay Museum. It celebrates 100 years of the Port Arthur Rotary Club, showcasing the Rotarians' efforts in the Thunder Bay area and around the world. Rotary clubs exist in more than 220 countries, with 34,000 clubs worldwide, including 3 here in Thunder Bay. It was a very special day for the Port Arthur Club as it was recognized with its very own exhibit. A Rotary-led team collected artifacts, photos, branded paraphernalia, and banners. And with the museum's help, the group was able to put together displays highlighting memorable moments from the past century.
It's a legacy for us, and it's an opportunity for people to come. And I'm sure that they will recognize people in this exhibition because over 100 years, as I said, there are people who have been mayor of the city. There are people who have done wonderful things in our community.
Incredibly difficult to get it all into one installation. We have this lovely little area right behind me here. It's a cabinet with 12 cubicles and a central panel to get all this information onto it. But I think we've done a pretty decent job. And kudos numerous to the staff of the Thunder Bay Museum.
There's also a digital slide kiosk displaying more than 150 photos, documenting special projects and memories over the years. The exhibit runs until June 23rd.
Some local ski racers got a big thrill at Loch Lomond yesterday afternoon as the Prime Minister dropped in to meet the kids and do some snowboarding. Justin Trudeau was a licensed snowboard instructor in Whistler back in the 1990s and still enjoys the sport. He strapped on the board at Loch Lomond for a few runs around 4:30 yesterday afternoon, in between his housing announcement and that fundraising event. Trudeau also made time for plenty of selfies and a group photo with the Northwestern Alpine Club. Some of the kids spoke about what it was like meeting the Prime Minister out on the slopes.
So tell me about how much fun you guys just had coming down the hill, and what was it like going up there and then coming down with the Prime Minister?
It felt pretty good. It was just a really cool experience to have.
It was scary because he's the Prime Minister, but it was cool.
I like those, the two answers, scary and cool.
Scary and cool. Yeah, I would be the one probably saying it was a little bit scary.
Scary.
Yeah,
I might be the one saying it was cool.
All right, well, turning our attention to the weather now, Fiona. It was far more conducive to skiing yesterday than it was this afternoon, as we can see that glorious looking temperature behind you.
Yes, we saw temperatures rise 15 degrees here in Thunder Bay over the course of one day. Yesterday, we had a daytime high of -7. Today, +8. That is a huge jump in 24 hours, despite partly to mostly cloudy skies. Winds were fairly light for much of the day, especially the morning. They started out from the southwest, 3 kilometers per hour. Then in the afternoon, rotated around and started coming in from the southeast, 17 kilometers per hour with gusts up to 31. And that was after an overnight low of -12 and wind chills of -17. We are not the only ones, though, who saw temperatures rise anywhere from 14 to 20 degrees throughout northwestern Ontario. And at this hour, the majority of locations are above the freezing mark as we head westward into Fort Frances. Lots of sunshine, and those clear skies continue through Fort Frances, Dryden, Upsala, up into Armstrong and Greenstone, and the temperatures range from 7 to 3 Celsius up into Red Lake. Despite mostly cloudy skies, they're still enjoying 4 Celsius. Now, the one location on our map here that is below freezing, Pickle Lake at -1, but considering yesterday they had a high of almost -15, they too saw temperatures rise 14 degrees today. So they're still within that trend. And Sault Ste. Marie, usually the hot spot for the region, they are also at 7 Celsius under mostly cloudy skies at this time. Now, tonight is going to be a lot milder than last night as well. We will drop below the freezing mark, but just a handful of degrees, -5. We'll see some increasing cloud after midnight. This evening's going to be pretty clear, but in the late night hours, the clouds will start to roll in. The winds will start out gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour, but they will also start to diminish overnight down to closer to 10 kilometers per hour, which is why the wind chill not much of a factor tonight. And as we head into the weekend, it's looking quite warm to start, but very gray conditions this weekend. And then the temperatures start to slip back on Sunday, not what we have seen the last few days, but closer to the freezing mark. And that means when precipitation arrives, well, it could be rain or it could be snow. And that's going to keep a lot of folks on their toes because with temperatures hovering around the freezing mark, it could be a little bit icy at times.
Yeah, well, we've had to stay on our toes pretty much all winter long, not knowing what we're going to get. Thanks a lot, Fiona. All right, let's turn our attention back to our top story when we return. More tributes rolling in for the late Prime Minister Brian Mulroney. We told you earlier that the flags are flying half-mast outside Parliament in Ottawa. That is also the case outside the Ontario Legislature at Queen's Park. We'll have more right after the break.
He loves his family and his country, and that really shone through in everything he did.